and implementation strategy from National Bureau of Statistics as well. And to do that, we'll invite Grace Ahulime to do that. Please, a round of applause for her.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Let me take you through this presentation. So, in the outline of the presentation, I'll take you through the background of MPI in Nigeria, MBS 2021-2022 National MPI Report, the survey itself, the structure of the Nigerian MPI, key results. In the background, the National Poverty Reduction Growth Strategy is a poverty alleviation program, was created to achieve the government target of removing 100 million Nigerians or people in the country out of poverty. This is in line with the first goal of Sustainable Development Goal, to end poverty in all its forms and dimensions. But to do this, the government needs a robust data to continuously monitor poverty indicators, hence the Multidimensional Poverty Index. And the Multidimensional Poverty Index, it advances the SDG goals, breaking silos and leaving no one behind. Thus, the MPI is a platform to build integrated policy, disaggregate data to track the poorest. Poverty can be calculated using the monetary and non-monetary measures. When we talk of the monetary measures, we are looking at a situation where you consider income, expenditure, you consider consumption. When you talk of the non-poverty measure, you are looking at deprivation. That is where the MPI falls. Now, for the monetary measures, when we look at income, what we are trying to say is if your consumption level or your income level or your expenditure level falls below the requirements for a basic livelihood, you are seen as poor under the income approach. But on the multidimensional approach, we'll be looking at different deprivations across multiple indicators, multiple dimensions. In 2018, sorry, I don't know why this is showing, but let me continue. Now, the Oxford Poverty and Human Initiative have been computing multidimensional poverty, but that is for the global level. But in 2018, the National Bureau of Statistics computed for the first time the MPI for the country. You can find that in the Human Development Report. In 2018, 4 dimensions were looked at, and the dimensions were health, education, living standard, and labor. It looked into 11 indicators. But there was consultations, there were deliberations, there were discussions among stakeholders. And the discussions was to look at additional indicators. And this is just to reflect poverty. Not just poverty, poverty that is of priority to the nation, but post-pandemic. Therefore, additional indicators around food insecurity, indicators around child deprivations were added. So now, let me take you through the MPI survey of 2021-2022. The sample as it is representative across the 109 senatorial districts. 36 states and FCT Abuja. The design is a two-stage stratification process. First, it is the selection of 102 enumeration areas per state, which is 34 EAs per senatorial, and that gives 3,774 enumeration areas. The second stage is the selection of households per EA, and 15 households were selected per EA. For every state, we have 1,530 households per state, and this gives a total of 56,610 households nationally. In doing this, a pretest exercise was carried out, and the pretest exercise, the essence of this is to test the questionnaire that will be used for the survey. And this is to check the ambiguity of the questions, how easy it is for people to understand when questions are asked, and the kind of responses that people give. This exercise helped in structuring the questionnaire better. After the pretest exercise, a pilot exercise was also carried out in 4 states, in the northern and in the southern part of Nigeria. For the northern part of Nigeria, it took place in Kano and Plateau, and for the southern part, it took place in Akwa Ibom and Lagos. After the pretest exercise, the main survey took place in November 2021 in the 36 states and FCT also. In total, 56,610 households were selected for the face-to-face interview. And this face-to-face interview, we made use of an electronic device, which is the CAPI. And what we mean by CAPI is the computer. It is the computer-assisted personal interviewing device. That way, the information is collected on real time and is translated to the headquarters. And it gives room for faster processing of analysis. For the completion rate, we have a completion rate of 91.9%, and that is about 52,022 households that were completed. Next MPI survey, targeting 2026-2027. Now, the 2021 survey was among the largest implemented, focused on MPI question to obtain the best possible data. However, the data has sparked a lot of interest, and stakeholders are of the opinion that the MPI survey should also include additional indicators like electricity in order to capture more forms of deprivation, including gender ownership of assets, sexual and gender-based violence and empowerment, as well as ethnicity. These questions should be considered when planning the regular subsequent waves of the survey. Let me quickly take you through the structure of the current Nigeria MPI. Earlier, you have been told that it has 4 dimensions. Now, the dimensions are health, education, living standard, work, and shock. But for this health, we have 3 indicators. Under this health, the indicators are food, insecurity, nutrition, time to health care. I believe when you came in, a report was handed over to you, and it is the MPI report. If you check page 17 of that report, also page, I think, 48 of that report, you will see the definitions of each of these indicators, and that will help you understand how the process was done. For the education, it was school attendance, years of schooling, school lag. Living standard, we have water, water reliability, sanitation, housing material. Now, the housing material looked at the floor, the wall of the household, the kind of floor that they have, the kind of wall that they have, and the kind of roof that the household have. And you know that all of this gives a better understanding of the wealth index of a household. And this is poverty that we are talking of here. For work and shock, we have underemployment, employment, and security shock. you and I know that employment is vital, or underemployment is something to look at. Even security is also something to look at. We did not just have the national MPI. There was a linked child MPI. Now, the linked child MPI had 5 dimensions. It had both the 4 dimensions of the national and another additional dimension that is peculiar to children. And that dimension was called child survival and development. Let's look at that dimension. It has severe undernutrition, immunization, supplements, school feeding, child care, child engagement, playground, birth attendance. All of these are related to children. Now, not just that the other indicators are not related, but these are specific to children. So under the national MPI, those children that we were not able to capture because of the indicators in that national MPI, under the child MPI, we were able to capture them because these are specific indicators that are related to children. Quickly, the key results. As it stands, we are talking of multidimensional poverty index, which is an index that looks at multiple deprivations across dimensions. So for a household that is deprived in more than one dimension, I told you for the national we have 4 dimensions. So once a household is deprived in more than one dimension, automatically that household becomes MPI poor. Once you are deprived in 2 dimensions, you are automatically MPI poor, which is 2 or more dimensions. MPI as it is, the index stands at 0.257. And what this means is that those that have been identified as MPI poor are deprived in over 1/4 of the possible deprivations. Possible deprivations. Because it's possible that you are deprived in just 1 or 2 of the indicators, not the dimension as a whole. But of all the possible deprivations, once you are deprived in over 1/4, 1/4 of these possible deprivations, which are of 15 indicators, then that is the index of the country. Incidence simply is the head count, and the head count stands as 62.9, approximately 63. What it means is, in translation in million, we have about 133 million Nigerians that are MPI poor. And we know that the population of Nigeria is over 200. So out of the over 200, 133 is already MPI poor. That is something to look into. Intensity stands at 40.9. And what this simply means is that on average, these poor people, these 133, suffer 40.1 of these indicators. At this point, I'm going to hand you over to Jacob to continue the presentation. Jacob is from Oxford Poverty Human Initiative, which have supported us during the computation of the process. Thank you very much.